So working from the back this time down to the front on the driver's side of the motorhome, we've got the large garage entry door, and you'll see that it goes from the bottom of the van up to, I would say it's about 5 foot off the ground here. So it's quite a big door, and it goes quite a long way. It's sort of at least that wide, so it's as wide as my shoulders and then a bit. But this has got 2 locks on it, which I've unlocked, and let's just open it now. So it does open. It doesn't go right back against the van, even without any obstruction there. It goes out to maybe 90, 100, maybe 110 degrees past to not fully open. And you'll see up there that it has a sort of a stay. That's a sort of hydraulic thing. But let's give you a view of the inside from this side. So you'll see when you first open the door, what you've got here is the sort of spare wheel jack. Although it doesn't have a spare wheel, there's a jack to take it off, maybe sort of get it fixed. And we do have an electric pump to re-inflate the tyres. And this right down here, you'll see there is a sort of cargo hook rail, one at the bottom that goes right the way across. There's a similar thing the other side, so this sort of down here is another rail that takes those sort of cargo hooks. There's also one at the top here. These things that, you know, like this, they come off, and they're sort of like, you know, they hook in to the cargo rail, and you can put bungees on there to sort of, or bungees or ropes to tie things in and keep them really secure. So that sort of tightens up really well, and will keep things tied in really securely. We've also got in here what came with the van, the Super Guard pack, and this got a whole load of cleaning materials, which we have already used. Here that comes. Now it comes with a sort of box with some cloths and well, microfiber cloth like this, and this Super Guard cleaning spray bottles, and one for every sort of application. So this is wheel cleaner. You've also got bird and bug remover. I think that, you know, that's a really hard stuff. Upholstery cleaner, which I have used. I spilled a cup of coffee the other day, and I was really worried, but following the instructions on that, no marks on the sofa at all. Dash and door cleaner. Glass cleaner. And tyre and trim dressing. So when you get the van from new, it all comes sort of sparkly clean, and you then apply this, well, the professionals apply this Super Guard to the outside and all the inside as well. So all of the upholstery's been super guarded. It's like, you know, you might have heard of Scotch Guard, but it's sort of Scotch Guard but for vehicles. And they coat everything in it, and what it does, it applies this sort of micro technology stuff that makes other liquids and staining things sit on top. So as you've got the fibres of the stuff, it blocks, so the liquid can't go down into the fibre, so it just sits on top. And then when you spray the cleaners on, especially for the fabric, that just lifts it out as well, and you just dab it with a dry cloth and it just soaks it up, because your cloth is not super guarded. It just soaks up the stain, which is a really great idea. Works really well. We have tested it by accident. We spilt a can of beer and a whole cup of coffee over the sofa, completely by accident. We didn't mean to do it, but no damage or stains to the sofa fabric at all. That completely clean. It looks like brand new still. So really pleased with that. But other things that we keep in the garage here, I keep down here. We've got a 240 volt outlet, and we keep the Hoover plugged in to charge up, and I keep my camera battery down there charging up. So I've always got a battery on charge there. We keep other things. I keep my sort of travelling bag here, thing I go out walking with, and then a new post. This is another little project I've got. I bought a longer barbecue hose, because the barbecue hose, as you might know, that barbecue hose is only 2 meters long, and we can only get, well, by the time we've connected it to the barbecue outlet and got it, well, it just sits like that, about, maybe 8 or 10 inches away from the van, and about 8 or 10 inches away from the awning. So it's really, the heat source is really close to both the awning and the van. And what I've done is I bought a 5 meter length. I did a lot of research on, because everybody says, oh, you can't buy more than 2 meters because it's a legal thing, but it's not at all. It's sort of a recommendation and a safety thing. A lot of people say, well, if it's 2 meters, you can't get it too far away from the van, so no one's going to trip on it. Other people say, well, there's less likelihood of it getting punctured by people treading on it. There's less likely of children falling over it. If you go more than 2 meters with a high pressure gas hose for a barbecue, the pressure drops off and your barbecue doesn't work. Well, the consensus I've read is that 5 meter is long enough to get it far enough away from your van, and it's sort of the optimum length, so you don't get any gas pressure drop off. Now, I don't know that for sure yet, but we're going to try it out. I'm going to replace the 2 meter hose I've got with the 5 meter hose, and we'll see at the next barbecuing. But other things we keep in, obviously the chairs over there. You've seen the bag of coats, the winder for the awning, and other bits and pieces. We've got some other sort of cleaning materials and stuff like that. That black bag down there that you can just see is that's the pump for any flat tires we might get. You have to have a pump apparently legally if you haven't got a spare wheel. If you got a puncture, I'm not sure what a pump is going to do for you. You got a hole in your tyre, pump it up and the air will come out. I don't know. Anyway, that's them the rules. We stick by the rules because it came with the van, so we carry it. Anyway, moving on to the next little cubby hole that's on the outside of the driver's side of the van. So everything else down the driver's side of the van on the outside are little cubby holes and inlets. And the first one we see is down here. It's the water inlet, which I now keep locked, because that's where our fresh water goes in, and that just stays closed and locked. I do have a hose here. I suppose I could get it. I could get one of those caps that you sort of plug in a connector hose to that just keeps on filling it. But you know, I'm not too worried about that. I've got a hose there connected to a tap, and I can just fill it up whenever I like. But also, we've got the onboard grey waste tank that needs to be emptied every so often. We're finding that every sort of 5 days, roughly, we use up all the water and we have to empty the grey waste tank. So that, you know, that's maybe an interesting statistic. We use about 120 litres of water every 5-6 days. So I need to fill it up from there, because I think I'm sure it's a 120 litre tank on board. So the next thing down this side is the electric hookup, which is you know, I sort of wish we didn't have to have that. I really do. You know, it's a standard sort of 3-pin electric hookup cable. You know, it just pulls out, plugs in, and you know, that provides us with currently where we are a 16 amp electricity supply that we keep plugged in all the time we're here. That cable sort of remains here. We have another cable that we sort of carry with us, so we don't have to keep rolling it up. So that's our permanent connected cable that just remains, you know, and I take it out of there, put it inside the awning when we're away. So, you know, it's there. But the next little cupboard along is something that none of us really like to deal with, and it's this one. This is the toilet cassette cupboard, and that has a lock on it here. It's standard, same as that was on the Caravan, really. Our Caravan one opened this way. This one opens upwards, so it has to keep it there. It has this little hook arrangement. It's a standard sort of Thetford cassette that we've got in there, but it's the sort of newer one, and that's sort of in there. So you lift this handle up, pull it out, and then you can wheel it across. This little lid unscrews, and you sort of tip it out and then fill it up with, well, not fill it up, but you sort of replenish the sort of toilet chemical that helps to sort of minimize the smell coming back out of the toilet. Because what you in a caravan and motorhome toilet with the Thetford sort of cassette system, what you do is you know, when you want to go, you have to open up the hole in the toilet bowl that gives you access to the cassette here, so the container. So what you're doing is you're actually opening up a hole onto an open sewer, effectively. So you know, we try and keep our use of this to liquid only, and try not to do any solids in there. So you know, so the smell is minimized when you open it up. It does sort of seal, but you know, you can't help but have you know, when you open it, a smell comes out. And the chemicals you use, they don't smell beautiful. I mean, they're sort of chemically, they try and mask the smell of what you've done in previous days. It doesn't get emptied every day. Maybe I ought to be doing that, but it gets emptied I think it's every 3 days we sort of fill it up. Well, get to a point where I think that's enough to go and empty. But that's what's in that cupboard. what's next along here is we've got two little extra bits here, and one is an external TV point, and what that has is it has a 12-volt outlet. Well, that's interesting, a 12-volt outlet. I'm not sure if that's running off the batteries or the mains. We also have a 3-pin to 40-volt outlet, and it has two TV inputs. Let's give you a close-up of that. So here's a close-up of the TV point, and we've got a 240-volt 3-pin outlet, a 12-volt sort of cigarette lighter type output. I'm not sure if that's coming off the leisure batteries or whether that comes off the hookup. I've got to test that out. But we've got two TV input points that are sort of, you know, satellite screw type, and I'm not quite sure which one goes to which. I wanted to put a satellite dish on the outside, or have that option, but not have it sort of attached to the roof and sort of all, you know, the big sort of system, because I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure about how to receive TV, whether it's, whether it's satellite or aerial. I just don't know. Not done enough travelling, and we don't watch enough TV to worry about it these days. Anyway, on to the next little cubby hole, or little flap. This one's not marked up with anything, it's just a sort of plain white cover, but this is our gas point. This is LPG Outlet Point. So we've got the sort of thing that fits in there, so it's attached to our barbecue at the moment, so it sort of plugs in there, turns that way, and that switches it, that opens the gas valve on the inside. So that supplies gas from the Cassette tanks that you saw in the other cubby hole round the other side, those big red gas tanks. This barbecue outlet point gets fed from them, and that's, it's a nice tight seal on there, as you would have seen. It sort of does really click into place, and there's a nice sort of rubber seal that goes around here as well, so that's all nice, so it never gets, you can never sort of have a horrible gas leak coming out when you didn't know it. The thing above here, so when you've got these two here, and you've got this thing above, and you'll see it's marked up Dometic, and this is the sort of vent for the Dometic Tech Tower fridge freezer. There is also another one up above near the roof line up here, and that'll be the vent for the cooker that's up there. So the one at the bottom, just above the TV and barbecue outlets, are that one is for the fridge freezer. That's the fridge freezer vent, and the one at the roof line, that is for the cooker, for the oven at the top of the tech tower. And that is pretty much it for the little cubby holes and flaps that we have around the outside of Jasmine Meyer. I hope you've enjoyed that little tour of what we've got. I hope it wasn't too long and boring, that'll give you a bit of an insight into how it all sort of fits together, and we'll give you more little tours of bits and pieces as we go on. Anyway, that's it for today. We're busy working this afternoon, so this is being made in the morning. We've got a 3 o'clock till 8 o'clock shift to do on the Caravan site. As for now, I was hoping to get a little sort of drone flight in, just have another little practice, but I think it's just too windy today. I'm not even going to bother to get it out. So if it's not windy tomorrow, maybe I'll get it out then, because we've got the whole day to ourselves. See you again soon. Bye bye.